morning, folks, and welcome back to the channel. So before we dive into this one, drop a subscription, drop a like, drop a comment. Those three things are really what helps the channel grow here. I'm drinking Dow Egbert's coffee this morning. Let me know what you're drinking. So I've been doing a lot of coverage on Enterprise, on Cosmosverse, on Foundation, and this whole idea of not building in a funnel and utilizing what's around us. As it stands, it's been a year and 6 months inside the LUNC community, and we've not even seen an on-ramp from around $2.4 million in funding. And it's always been very clear we lack any real serious development team that are willing to come on board and build something like Enterprise, build all of these really, really intense tools that we really need. And it's, for me, we're at a point now where we need to forge a path ahead. The bull run's coming and it's coming fast and everybody's moving around us, and we're sort of this chain that's building in a vacuum, very much building in a funnel. We're going to be going over quite a lot of things. This is going to be one of those longer format videos, and this is one of those videos where you're probably going to share it, you're probably going to speak about it a lot, and there's probably going to be a lot of criticism as to what I'm about to present to you, the people who come here to listen to my content. Now, like I said, we lack vision, we lack an idea, we simply just lack everything. At this point, what we need is an idea, a route, a place to get to, and a final end result. And I believe moving forward with all of the stuff that I've covered here is we should be shadowing the LUNA chain. That's right, I said it, the Luna chain. And why should we do this? Well, originally, this was probably the best plan that we could do. It's the most foolproof one, because something we need to understand about the new TFL team is this whole idea of cross-chain deployment and being cross-chain compatible and being there to better serve the cosmos and having everyone being able to utilize all of these amazing tools, as long as you're in connect, right, with these people. Because I've seen a lot of different people that are now jumping on the idea of Foundation and these things that I've spoken about, simply going, we can have these if we want them. It's not as simple as that. There's development work that goes into this. In fact, there's a huge SDK update that comes with just wanting to utilize any of this stuff. And when I say there's work, it looks like there's around a month to 2 months work, maybe 3 at the very worst case. If you had a terrible L1 team like we currently do now, it would probably take you a lot longer, considering how long it's taking them to deploy the dynamic commission module, right? Exactly. So moving forward, my route I suggest is that we shadow Luna. We keep ourselves in consistent parity, and all development work should be to keep us in parity. And the reason why I say this is so we can utilize Foundation, which provides our chain endpoints. It provides us with a payment system, a DAO creation system, a treasury system, and an on-chain labor market, all packaged down into a lovely hub full of tools. And if we continue this behavior, we work in a symbiotic relationship, it becomes a very fruitful relationship. So what I'm going to do is play you a clip from the Cosmosverse again, but this is a clip before, and we'll be covering the remainder of the clip at the very end of the video if you wanted to tune into that also.
Built a successful business before will know that, you solve your problems from the bottom up in regards to your funnel. You solve for retention before you throw a lot of fire on top of the funnel in terms of user acquisition. So we've got a lot of applications under development. We're feeling good about the product market fit that we have, but we're going to iterate on them organically. We're going to take the feedback, we're going to apply new features, and we're going to continue to grow them in a sustainable way, in a responsible way, and make sure that we really nail customer retention, customer engagement before we throw a lot of user acquisition into the top of the funnel. This will be a long process, right? We're going to have to grind this out. These types of applications that we want to build are not going to be, these are not going to be kind of overnight success applications, although we do have some that have been in the works for a while that we think are ready to go now and that are going to get a lot of traction. I already covered cross-chain by design. I think the types of applications we're building are lacking in the Cosmos ecosystem. I think they're lacking in the crypto ecosystem. The vast majority of what we're going to build will be complementary to what I've seen presented here today. I think Cosmos needs a team that can build these applications. I don't think there are a lot of people working on them. And with the
So I'm going to halt it there. And I think this is a very good point to halt on, because what he's saying is so true. we don't have any of these amazing development teams that are willing to build, for example, for the Cosmos or for a chain. Instead, we see a very third party kind of attitude taken, where we see something like Hexagon built up from the funding and more or less the ashes of our blockchain to then waltz off somewhere else. And that's just the bare bones and the way the cookie crumbles with something like that. Whereas what TFL are building is something which is cross chain by design. And what that means is it works with the whole Cosmos ecosystem as long as that blockchain keeps in parity, right? And it does all of these different things that it can do to ensure it can utilize the payments, the labor market, treasury, DAO, and hub. So the first point of call with this is definitely going to be foundation, which isn't actually on here because it's an endpoint system in itself. And this is a nominal fee, and pretty much it signs us up for Alliance, and we need to be signed up for Alliance. We need to be cross-chain connected. It's no point us building in a vacuum right now, because that vacuum is just leading to a very small group of people that are building a website and updating the document system. And that's as much as you've got currently in development from those who have chosen to place themselves in a position where the chain look to them. It's not that they're leaders, it's the chain looks to them for guidance as to where is this all going, what's the end result. And for me, the path that should be forged ahead now is towards all of this, because we do not have anybody, and I repeat, we do not have anybody who is going to build this much power into one thing and build it so everybody can use it. This isn't a situation, right, where we develop towards something where all of a sudden we need to have consistent developers maintaining things all of the time. No, once you reach the end goal of enterprise being launched, the likelihood is, unless there's a major SDK update, you're not going to need to hire anyone. But as it stands, you are going to need a team to get this done. And I can tell you something for certain, right? The L1 team do not look like the right people to be doing this. And they're really burying their head in the sands. They've taken a non-payment for the specific reason that they can more or less just waltz around and do what they want. And I get it. The issue I've always seen with these teams are, it's like, oh, well, with the L1 task force, we're in charge of maintaining the blockchain. And it's never ever been a situation where people have placed themselves with the roadmap outline and target and end result of removing themselves. It's always been to build, to break, to have to deploy more. The route I am wanting to foster and push this chain towards as a validator is definitely towards enterprise, as to which we have all of these really good tools, and it just comes down to very simple updates. And with all of this being said, right, with all of this being said, a wallet system is what we are used to. We stay where we are, we keep our independence as a blockchain, right? And we get to move forward as a very independent ecosystem that's interconnected with the rest of the cosmos. And for those who can't quite grasp what all of these different tools mean, this is huge for someone who creates projects like myself. This opens up so many different things with a DAO, right? You can do so much with a DAO, so much. It opens up a whole world of tools, and it's saying we need a very, very selective way to pay people on chain, and getting that to happen is near to impossible. And what we've proposed recently is more or less just a band-aid solution until we can get to something like this, where we have a real good payment system backed up by Warp Protocol. If you don't know what Warp Protocol is, go take a look. But it's an advanced payment system pretty much through smart contracts for the Cosmos ecosystem. So with all of this being said, right, how do we best obtain all of this? How do we gain access to all of this? Well, it brews down to working with TFL. There needs to be a specific group of people, because I can tell you something for now. TFL are not going to want to work with 10 different teams doing 10 different things that are all out of disconnect with each other, where one group just buries their head and said they're not going to want that. This is going to be a situation where a team is basically going to need to be there at every turn, every corner, to ensure that everything is being done to keep us in parity as this moves forward. And for me, this is the only route forward. I don't see any other routes for our blockchain right now to gain all of the different tools that this ecosystem needs to thrive, right? This isn't just about building something that is going to serve the current community, but actually attract new developers, right? Because if you've got all of these amazing tools, you've got these really good gas fees, you've got everything nailed, the ecosystem becomes stable, you haven't got this horrible outflow, and you've got a goal you're working towards, people will come flocking back, just like lunatics came to build, just like all of these different people that came to build originally. It will happen again. But what needs to happen is there has to be a draw in the line where ultimately there's a team that can get us through this. They can get us from point A to point Z, and throughout that process, update the community by using a community PR rep, right? Have adjudicators, have people to outline tasks that the community trusts, because this isn't a situation, like I said, where you're going to need a huge team. You're probably going to need 4 developers, right? You don't need a project manager for starters. You can just outline tasks as a collective community, as we've always done. It's not complex stuff. The biggest issue I've always found is so many people want to pull in so many different directions. And every time we get a project leader and they have this great idea of what the change should be and where it should go, and they want to do all of these amazing things, but it never happens, right? This is an opportunity for our chain to harness and piggyback on another chain success. And as to which, during all of this, right, getting the development done, paying out a little bit to get this final level of development done, and we can all start to focus on our projects. We can all start to focus on our validators. We can all start to focus on building amazing things instead of everybody worrying about building a website or trying to bring the chain to a better place because it's being treated so poorly. And, none of us want to be here in the situation where you've got to be at the front and you've got to sort of say to everybody, this is probably what we should be working towards. I've never ever wanted to be in a position where I'm at the forefront and I'm going, look, this is what we should do. This is where we should go, because it's not nice. There's a lot of weight that comes with something like this. But something that I've come to understand recently is who really gives a rubber dingy neck about this blockchain out of all of the different people in this ecosystem? Who really cares enough to get us to this point? And honestly, I feel like this is something that's easily grasped. You can get hold of it quite easily and you can work in sync with someone like TFL. And now it's all about opening the lanes of communication, doing all of the correct things behind the scenes to try and ensure that we can use all of this. And, there's a lot of people talking, there's a lot of chatter going around, there's a lot of people that are posting screenshots of, enterprise specifically saying, yes, well, it is possible. And the honest God's truth is, of course it's possible. It's the Cosmos ecosystem. We're part of it, right? If we want to harness something like this, we just need to work with Luna. And it's the same as what White Whale have done. They're very accepted over there for who they are, and what they've done, right? And we're a huge blockchain. We bring a very substantial community. We've got a lot to offer for what they can give us in return. If this isn't a positive route and a bullish route forward for our chain to work in symphony with another chain and all of our prices move together at the same time, and this isn't bullish, I don't know what is at this point. And it's at the end of this video, I would find myself that if this was a no from everybody and they didn't want to move forward with this, we would just go round the roundabout again. And we'd be back at the same point of no heading, an L1 team burying their head in the sands, just wasting time building websites, messing us about, going back and forward, saying they can build it, they can't build it, making deals. I'm sick of it. I just want to see us get to a place where we have a chain, we have the tools, we've got the community, we've got the validators, we've got the stability, the taxes are sorted. And it's at that point we can build. We can be a blockchain instead of just this argument on Twitter all the time. Oh, we haven't got this, we haven't got that. Let's move forward as a collective. Let's move forward together. Let's get this all crammed down into a proposal, and maybe let's get this route proposed forward to try and get the validators and community to try get better in sync with what's going on over at Luna. Because currently, if you go and look at what they're sort of discussing over there, they're actually discussing validators on chain that don't do anything, that don't provide anything, that are kind of these rent-seeking validators. So if we feel like it's just us that's dealing with these kind of situations, it's not. They're dealing with it too. And it's at what point do we all stop grinding on each other as two blockchains and just go, do you know what? Let's work together. Let's do this together. Let's move forward together. And with Chris saying everything he said at Cosmos first about cross-chain by design and all of these amazing things, it's just bullish momentum. It's him on stage, literally going, we'll work with anyone. You want it? Come get it. You want endpoints? We'll provide them for free. Pay us a nominal fee. We'll be there forever. This is what we need as a blockchain right now. Let me know what you think. I'm going to let the rest of this segment roll. It's only 5 minutes long for those who want to listen into the rest of this at the end of this video, and hopefully it boosts Cosmos versus Reach and gives you context if you're missing a lot of the videos previously on this. Let me know what you think about it. Stay safe, stay humble, stay aware, and as always, we'll catch you in the next one.
Cross-chain by design, our plan is to take all these applications to your chain to interact with your protocol, but layer in a different type of application on top of them. So I think everything we're going to do is going to be super complementary to the stuff that's being built today. And lastly, I think in terms of like the suite that we're building, and I'm going to get into some of the products later, but we're going to have an entire suite of cross-chain applications that allow for commerce to happen in crypto, that allow us to bring economic activity on-chain again. The set of indexers and infrastructure that we're building, the tooling that we're going to have, we think Terra and Luna are going to be at the center of crypto commerce long into the future. So if these types of applications are the ones you want to build, Terra is going to be the place to do it. Okay, so let's get into the applications. I think if you're familiar with Terra, you're familiar with Station. This is our flagship product at this point. People loved it. It was one of the most popular applications in the last bull market. I would say one of the either number 2 or number 3 most used wallets behind MetaMask. It was beautiful. It worked. That was V1. In V2, we launched a cross-chain version of this, and it was awful. I couldn't use it. If you loved V1, you hated V2. That's just a fact. But we learned a lot about cross-chain, and we've been taking those learnings, and we're putting those learnings into Station V3. And if you love Station V1, you're going to love Station V3. It takes everything you loved about the original version of Station. It's beautiful. It's intuitive. It abstracts away everything you need it to abstract, and it applies it to cross-chain. We're really excited to get this out. Beyond next year, this thing is going to be the portal for consumers using all of our applications. It will be much more than a web wallet. But for now, we think we're going to have one of the best wallets on the market out, and that version 3 will be out in the next couple of months. Enterprise. Really excited about Enterprise. Some of you might have heard of Enterprise DAO. That was just a tip of the spear of what we want to do with the Enterprise brand. Enterprise is ultimately a brand about how you can do business in Web3. We started with Enterprise DAO, and we're rolling out now Enterprise Hub, which is a Web 2.5 wrapper around a number of different tools that help you build applications and run your business in crypto, and hopefully try to bring as much of your economic activity on-chain as possible. Treasury is the next app that will be out. The equivalent competitor to this is Gnosis Safe, but Treasury will be cross-chain by default. It'll be Cosmos by default, and will allow teams and protocols to run all of their payments out of Enterprise. The next thing that will launch on Enterprise is Enterprise Payments. Enterprise Payments will allow either DAOs or treasuries to run payroll on-chain. It'll allow them to do vesting contracts on-chain for tokens. You would be able to set up payment streams. You can use yield redirection. So if a DAO or a protocol team has a DeFi position and they want to fund payments out of the yield that they're getting, they can do that. And the cool thing about it is all of those streams are represented as NFTs. So there are a lot of interesting things you can do with those NFTs in DeFi protocols, and a lot of kind of interesting swap mechanisms you could build around those as well. So payments will tie together kind of DAO and Treasury and the ability to make payments. And then the last thing you see up here is labor market. This is our first attempt at a truly commercial app where we're going to try to bring entire labor markets on chain. And enterprise labor is the first version of that. It's a place where either a DAO or a treasury or an individual can post a job that they need work done for. It's a place where either of those entities can also pick up a job and do work. It's going to be wrapped in a reputation layer that we've already built. So an individual, a DAO, or a protocol that's doing work for another party will be building reputation at the same time. That reputation will be completely decentralized. They can take it with them to any platform they want to use. They can use it in Web 2. They can use it in Web 3. It really brings the best of Web 3 to It kind of combines the best of experience you would see in something like Upwork or Fiverr, but with the sovereignty of owning all of your data, owning your profile, and not having platform lock-in. And then the hub is the wrapper. The hub will continue to expand as well. We have a list of 4 or 5 other projects or products that we want to build in the Enterprise Hub that are going to make running a business in crypto a lot easier. The hub will eventually be a platform for other developers as well. So if you like Enterprise and you have an idea about an app that you want to launch inside of it, you'll be able to integrate and launch that app as well. Next up is Warp. Our team's pretty excited.
So just going to end it there. If you listened in, you tuned into that, even if you've heard it before and you were hearing it again, this is probably the most bullish thing I've ever seen since I was in DeFi, period. At this point, it is so important that we harness this route moving forward as an ecosystem. And for me, it's heavily accepted. We're asking validators from that chain who also validate this chain to agree to us shadowing that chain. It's an absolute no-brainer at this point, but there is work. It does require work to get there. It's not something we can reach out, grab, and it's just going to plug in and work straight away. We're going to have to improvise. We're going to have to adapt, and we're going to have to overcome. Stay safe, stay humble, stay aware. Catch you in the next one.